What's happening, YouTube? Anthony on Power Rangers Lost Galaxy fan film with a brand new PRLostGalaxy2014 review, and the first in the Super 7 Ultimates reviews for Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And I got a surprise for you, since I'm not doing any of those 2010 reversion. That was 15 years ago. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Reignition. I decided to go ahead and just do the Super 7 Ultimates figures of Mighty Morphin because, well, until I finish up the Lightning Collection Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, when I get the Green Ranger, I managed to, if you haven't caught up on my social media feeds in the last couple weeks, that I have gotten all of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from Super 7. Now, my history with the Super 7 figures was complicated because back in 2021, 2022, I do recall Super 7 doing these figures of Power Rangers the same time Hasbro was doing the Lightning Collection. At first, I was hesitant and reluctant to do this line of figures, but here I am in 2025 and I'm doing it. But the first off is the glow-in-the-dark rendition of Tommy as the original Green Ranger. Yes, the original Green Ranger exists, but I wanted to do the glow-in-the-dark one because I thought, would it be cool to see Tommy glowing green? Because based on the rendition of the Green Ranger that was released and that I'm showing off in this video, is when Tommy was losing his Green Ranger powers the very first time back in the two-part Green Candle story from Season 1, which they inspired this figure from, which you have both his Season 1 head and his Season 2 head with the ponytail, you know, early Season 1 head and his later Season 1, early Season 2 ponytail hair, because, well, we have to have two different variations of Tommy from his Green Ranger era and also like with his White Ranger era, which I will delve into later. But we're going to focus on the big bad green first because, you know, the OG Green Ranger, and to honor Jason David Frank once more. And I managed to get all of the Super 7 Power Rangers all on Amazon, though Tommy's Green and White Ranger figures, when I got them on Amazon, they were like $100 a piece from whoever the Amazon seller I got the Green and White Ranger figures from, because Tommy's figures, well, again, ever since Jason David Frank passed in November 2022, a lot of his merchandise started getting very expensive to get. And so I managed to get my hands on these figures while I could, because I want to do, well, for, you know, at the time of this recording, I have released this and a few other videos of this on the week of Power Rangers Day, August 28th, and we are on to our 32nd year anniversary of the franchise, despite no new show, but yet we got more MMPR to jerk off to and stuff, nostalgia wise, until Hasbro's Power Rangers wide reboot ever hits in 2027, pretty much likely. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at the Super 7 figures, and I really hope if this does well, I will do more of the videos of the Super 7. And even though I already got all of the Power Rangers, but I do have a few of the villains and a few of the Megazords from Super 7. I do not have Lord Draken at the moment, as of this recording. But I do have all 7 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and a few of the villains, and one of the Megazords, and that will be until I complete everything from Super 7. So here's the front of the package. Well, with each of these figures, they do throw back pretty much to those old vintage 8-inch boxes of Power Rangers that we had from back in the day, back in the 90s, which is pretty decent for Super 7 to pull off and give us that nostalgia and basically give us the type of Power Ranger figure we couldn't get, because there was no way back in the 90s how they was going to do the figures like this, given the engineering and sculpting technology to make the toys back then. So front of the package showing Tommy and all his contents, and then also the back showing the story about Tommy, how he was the Green Ranger. And they, well, since this is the glow-in-the-dark variation, there is the image straight from the Green Candle episode when he was just now losing his powers the first time. So let's see if this glow-in-the-dark Green Ranger was worth the money. But with that being said, it's morphin' time. Okay, now that we got the glow-in-the-dark Mighty Morphin Green Ranger out of the package, but take a look at all these boatload of accessories that he came with. Same go for the rest of the other Power Rangers when I go over each of those too, because they really, I mean, compared to the Lightning Collection's efforts, Super 7's figures got like so much stuff. Take a look at the Power Morpher. Each of the Rangers are going to come with a Morpher when they hold it. You can get a good glimpse of the Dragonzord coin and the Power Rangers, you know, the Power Rangers logo on the up and down dials of the Morpher. If you can get a good glimpse of it, if the camera can pick it up on it. You can get a glimpse of how the Morpher looks, just like how they would hold it when they morph on the show. And then Tommy's Dragon Dagger. I like the way how they sculpted the dagger, though I'm surprised that the green on both sides of the dagger, especially around this area, has a teal color to it and not like an artificial green shade on some parts of it, but I guess that's alright. I mean, Dragon Dagger is Dragon Dagger. I don't care which one is authentic to the one in the show. Get over it. But then you have all of these different interchangeable hands, where you have hands when Tommy's holding onto the Dragon Dagger. Oh, there's some plastic string on there, sorry. Then you also have like hands when he's like, you know, holding on to something. Well, the default hands when you take the figure out of the box has the balled fist hands, so we're going to switch those out later. But these are the amount of hands that he came with, about like a total of like 12 different hands, like 12, like, you know, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, wait, 2, 4, 6, 8. No, a total of 10 hands that he came with. So each Ranger is going to come with 10 different interchangeable hands, and depending on the posing of what they did and how they would pose during action. So that sort of deal. Then we take a look at each of the Tommy heads. And yet again, it feels like Super 7 did a better job than Hasbro's own Lightning collection on the likenesses on JDF. And I'm like, these are more up to par, you know, more superb compared to like the Lightning collection sculpts for Tommy, for both the Lightning collection, Mighty Morphin Green and White Ranger releases that Hasbro had done. But I'm just like, you know, but specifically this ponytail Tommy head. The White Ranger Super 7 figure also has the same head, but the facial features on Jason David Frank is different though. But this is from the Glow in the Dark release, where this does look like a way better look on Jason David Frank than let's say the Lightning collection one did, because the features are just right in terms of his, you know, how they sculpted his nose, his eyebrows, you know, chin line, everything, and then the ears, his hair from back then during seasons 1 and 2. It's very close to home to how he always looked. And then don't forget his classic early season 1 when he had that bob hair, and also the green bandana when he first was introduced back in Greenwood Evil. But of course, if you get the original regular release of the Green Ranger, he comes with the more evil, the much more evil, possessed looking head on Tommy than this one. This is the glow in the dark one. Comes with the more smiling face one. When if you get the regular one, he comes with the more corrupted head. I had to pause him like this just to get a glimpse, because he should be fully glowing and ready to see how he looks in the dark. The next two accessories, the Dragon Shield. I was going to save this for later before going into the figure, but just take a look at the Dragon Shield. Great paint apps on the gold on the shield, and though Super 7's figures is not going to be just like how we would see all the other past Mighty Morphin Green Ranger releases from over the years, but this is a decent looking shield. I'm fine with that. And then here's these different interchangeable, arms. That hit the floor. Interchangeable arms. Because Super 7 loves to do that too, because since I got all of them, they do come with these different arms, but I'm going to talk about articulation a little later. But take a look at the arms, because the arms that he came with for the Glow in the Dark release had the no armbands, while the arms with the armbands would be the accessories to alternate and change his appearance of when he's glowing in the dark, and especially when we put the shield on him later. So just look how glowy green he's even showing up in transparency, because again, this is also a very transparent Green Ranger figure. because he's a glow-in-the-dark toy. I mean collectible, because they said on the bottom of each of these boxes saying that it's a, you know, adult collectible, not a toy, but still, regardless, it still seems like a toy to me. And okay, so now after going through several of the accessories, let's take a look at the Green Ranger figure, because even with the camera picking up, he looks very fantastic. And I feel like this is the shade of green they should have, you know, did with him when Super 7 announced that they were going to do Power Rangers, and, you know, of course, MMPR, that they were going to go ahead and do all of the originals, and especially with the Green Ranger. Though the Green Ranger, I feel that, you know, the regular release had that darker green to him, but I feel like this is the shade of green they should have went with. But again, they didn't want to make this confused with a much glowier green, because the Green Ranger, as seen in the Green Candle storyline in part, you know, season 1, damn, sorry, season 1. And then when he was losing the powers, giving the powers to Jason and the others, so that way Rita wouldn't get her hands on the Green Ranger powers at all. And I really liked how they did a good job on that for that effect. And I swore that even when I looked at the bottom of the package, it featured the Green Candle accessory. Or maybe that's probably with the regular release of the Green Ranger. I don't know if I ever do get my hands on it. But it just looks like a really good, well done Green Ranger figure. You can see some of the glow in the back, even behind this blue background with the light on. And it's just, wow. Like, let's take a moment of how he looks in the dark real quick to get a sense of what I mean. You can get some glow from like the head, some of the arms, the legs, the groin, but I don't see why is it not glowing by the abdomen as usual. I mean, unless I have to put as much more light as possible for him to glow, or take my phone to make it light to glow. Like, for instance, like, put more light to him and see if that will work, I guess. Well, not possible though. Now let's take a look at the Green Ranger in terms of how to take his arms out, because again, I gotta be very careful taking these body parts apart to switch out the arms, because I hear that these figures are very fragile to change limbs of certain figures off, and yeah, they really are. And same go for the hands. I mean, now, okay, I managed to get that arm out to switch out the arm with the armbands, but then I don't know why am I having problems getting this arm out, because I don't want to, because if I struggle, I'm going to break the joint and I'm not going to be able to put that other arm in. So give me a moment on that one. Okay, so in between takes, I also had to take the Green Ranger helmet off. You can get a good glimpse of even with the helmet off, it glows too. So you can also switch out the Green Ranger helmet with Tommy's head if you want to do it by choice, like the ponytail one or the bob hair one, your choice. But again, slightly better than Hasbro's Lightning Collection effort. So I want to put on the Green Ranger shield. So if you're going to put the shield on him, you got to take the arms off, take the head off for the helmet off for a moment, and see how the Green Ranger looks with his iconic dragon shield on. And also, okay, now let's put in the arms, but just gotta be careful putting them in the joints. So just make sure I snap them in there, because just gotta be very careful snapping in, because I don't want to break this. I noticed the default bandless arm had some chafing on there, because that's something I noticed when I got the figure also. So here's the Green Ranger with the shield and his armbands back on as usual. I don't even know why he was released with these arms as just the accessories. Okay, so here's your classic Mighty Morphin Green Ranger, all battle ready, even in glow in the dark edition. And let's put his dragon dagger in and see how he looks with the dragon dagger in. ready to battle, fight Rita's monsters, Putties, Goldar, and the works. Or even as the evil Green Ranger, face Jason and the others, mainly Jason. So you got the Green Ranger right there in his glow-in-the-dark finesse. And yeah, there you go. So we're going to pose him just like that for a moment and see how he stands like that, even as he's glowing in the dark. So let's take a look at his articulation points and then we're done. For articulation, since this is the first time owning anything Super 7 related, and let alone Super 7 Power Rangers, and Super 7 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, don't worry, I have gotten a few of the 2003 TMNT figures from Super 7, and I will take a look at those after I'm done with Power Rangers. So, articulation. His head only goes up and down and turn all the direction. His neck, unfortunately, does not move, sadly. And same go for the rest of the other Super 7 Ranger figures. Arms, you got to be careful, messing with the arms and stuff, because these are some very fragile joints. They're not like when we had the Lightning Collection or any other past Power Ranger thing, because Super 7 doesn't play like that. They are meant for serious collectors like myself. So gotta be careful playing around, toying with them and stuff like that. These Super 7 figures are as close as to those figure arts that people hyped up in the fandom a decade ago. But like, basically, I mind the figure arts, but Super 7, in my opinion, is a little better because, again, this is worth my buck. Even though some of these Super 7 figures were going up in price, but I managed to get Tommy's figures for $100 a piece, while the main 5, Core 5 Rangers, like $35 to $55 a piece for them. So, okay, as for the elbow crunch, since this is not like your usual other collectible figures, elbow crunches are what they are. They're just like that, just up and down, horizontally, and there you go. So you can't really do much of that like those usual figures. So just gotta be really careful. You can turn the hands and arms around. But you just can't bend those arms all the way, because then you're going to break the joints, and that you do not want. Abdomen crunches, what you would expect from a Super 7 figure, up and down. No other further, articulate movement on the abdomen, torso, and chest. But you can slightly turn the abdomen up, left and right slightly and firmly, because you don't want to break the joint to the abdomen either on each of these figures. Also, legs are, you can spread the legs, that's one thing, but you can't really put them all the way up, because this is not like those kind of figures, especially what we had in the Lightning Collection or the Legacy line. As for knee crunch, you gotta definitely be careful with also, just like the elbow joints. So the knee joints, you gotta be careful. Same go for the rest of all my other figures for Power Rangers that I've gotten now. Ankle pivots are okay, but they have a lot to be left desired though. But other than that, I do like the way how Mighty Morphin Green Glow in the Dark looks, and he's ready to go to add to my Power Rangers collection from Super 7. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, drop a like, share this video with your friends, and there's more to come from continuing my Super 7 reviews on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And once I've done all of the Mighty Morphin, then, on to the villains, and then one of the Megazords I do have from it, and then stay tuned until I do my next one.